Cam has been on the scene for a long time. I think she's one of the sweethearts in the CrossFit community because a lot of people were introduced to the sport and they were, she was one of the first athletes that they saw. I know that she's been very inspirational to people because she is one of the smallest competitors and does things with a lot of heart and charisma and passion. And she also teaches on the level 1 staff with me. So we've been teaching courses, introducing to CrossFit for years and years. But now is, I would say, probably the twilight of Camille's career. So I wanted to ask her a question for the viewers out there, which is, what has being a CrossFit Games athlete for these 9 years meant to you?
Oh, so my first year, I got to the CrossFit Game. So what it was for me was not, I made it to the CrossFit Game. I think I fell in love with being at the CrossFit Game because of the other women that were there. It was the first time in my life that I was part of this group of women that had the same type of determination, motivation, just mindset that I had. And I just remember in 2010, I did this workout and Christy Atkins was next to me, and she was so upset she couldn't get a handstand push-up that she punched a wall. And some people would be like, oh, she's a baby, she's this. But for me, it was the opposite. I was so inspired by that. And my first year, I just was so inspired to be around those women that it just flipped something in my head. I wanted to be, just to see how good I could be, and not physically, but like mentally. And I think that had become my quest. So those 10 years at the CrossFit Game was, how good can I be? And then, I achieved obviously my physical peak in 2014. But same in 2014, there was 1 or 2 workouts at the CrossFit Game that I thought that I gave in or gave up a little bit. And then my quest until last year, where I achieved it, was just to be like the real best version of me, like specifically with regard to my mindset. So last year we had the marathon row, and it was my redemption from 2013 because I was a little baby. I was a little baby brat during that marathon row. No sugarcoating myself here. I'm owning it. And last year at the CrossFit Game, like looking at the event, they were not the best event for me. And I just did each one of them as good as I could with a full heart, a clear mind, no expectation, didn't care about the result. And that was my mental stepping stone last year. So I felt like from all those years, I finally became, at the end of the day, the version of myself that I was seeking for to achieve through my whole career. So I don't, when I started, I didn't know that was my quest, but now that I'm, like literally this year I started to train again, and I realized that I achieved what I was looking for, and now it was very lacking in my life to not have more hands-on on helping other people. So that's where the shift happened. Did that answer the question?
No, you didn't answer the question.
I didn't answer the question.
That's okay.
But that's okay. I'll ask you a more direct question.
It was so vague. It was so vague, like.
I'll ask you the question that has the answer in it, and you can just elaborate on my answer for you. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Dave is going to answer
What
all
it
the
meant to
questions.
me.
Yeah, because I don't know what you just talked about.
I don't know, because I don't know what it meant to me. It's fun.
Well, okay. When I ask this next question, I think you'll have a better idea of where I was going with that first one.
Yeah, just be clear. I'm like an idiot. You can't ask me vague question in English. I barely understand English.
So when I ask somebody like, hey, what has this meant to you? I didn't expect a statistical breakdown of each year at the CrossFit Games, or from a broader perspective. Like, what has this brought to you? What have you brought to other people? But I think my next question is going to knock Camille on her ass, because no one knows her more than me, and I'm going to ask a question that's going to cut straight to her core, straight to the fiber of her being.
I'm scared. Let me live first.
Should she be scared?
And he put his serious face on, which is very scary.
My serious face is, I'd say when I make a serious face, the face is penetrating to the core of your being. It goes right through you. It goes right to your soul.
Oh, that was so ugly. Oh, that was a big break.
All right, here's the next question. Knowing you very well from an outside perspective, I can see over the past 10 years that the CrossFit Games has in some shape or form defined you. Maybe not defined you as I'm just a Games athlete, but what the Games has done, that Quest has done, is brought certain things out of you that have developed your character, your brand, and essentially what you're about. What are some of the things that the CrossFit Games have brought out of you as a person over the past 10 years?
You might be better than me to answer that.
I'm not going to answer. You have to answer these questions. So start with how has it developed your character?
Well, okay.
Your character and your message.
Yeah, I think like character-wise, it changed a lot from like the earlier year, being a little bit more result-oriented, a little bit more like, you know, feeling maybe some sort of success by finishing higher in ranking than just like the effort itself. Like earlier year, I mean, I also was so young, so, but would be like, you know, you do good in an event and you walk around like you're a little better than the other people. And I think that failing in front of thousands and thousands of people, that was a turning point in 2013. The legless rope climb event that I thought I was going to be the shit at, and successfully completely fell on my face. It just made me go back home and question intention behind what I was doing, and just how to do things better, and that I wasn't better than anyone. And then I started to find a lot of joy in working hard without expectation, and just going to bed with that.
I remember when I think back at your career, I can remember very clearly like the highest highs, the best moments you've had, and I can very clearly remember the lowest lows, you know, the outliers. I remember in 2014, Camille was doing a workout that was like a 21-15-9 gauntlet with bar muscle ups, and there was something about that workout that you could tell that she had something special that year. All the other girls, you know, came off the bar and she continued, and the crowd erupted, and her face left crying.
Are you crying? You make me cry.
I can't be emotional. But,
wait, talking, because I want to live and I don't want to cry, because if you cry, I'm going to cry.
Easy. Hey, over here. Yeah, but like, you know, in that event, I was sitting here watching her, and, you know, the crowd erupted and her face lit up, and it was like, there was so much more in her. It was really pretty to see. And it was the year she won, but like, it was like those moments you could feel. You're like, wow, this is something special. Her spirit was coming out in these workouts in a way that you just didn't see. Knowing her so well, I could see that like this is her competing to the absolute maximal of her ability physically, but also like mentally. She was bringing things out of herself and tapping into something that I'd never seen her do before. And so like that to me, and of course, her winning was the culmination of all that work. That was probably like the highest high. The lowest low I can think of was like...
That's okay. Guys.
Hey, outside. Oh boy. So some of the lowest lows that I saw for her, the things that broke my heart, because when you're watching an athlete, you're just out of control. Like, you can do everything to try to set them up for success, and there are so many times that I wish I was out there. I'm like, if I could just put myself in her positions, to save her from this suffering, or worse, the emotional suffering of having to relive things. I know how bad she wants it. In 2015, the next year after she won the games, there was an event where she got no reps, and then she got no repped again, and she kind of had like a mental breakdown and even threw a little hissy fit, and that was probably, I'm sure she would agree for herself, the lowest low. Not because of the physical performance, but the way that she reacted, because she's worked so hard to be about the right things, to compete clean, to work hard, to support others, and it takes a lifetime to build a reputation, and it takes a fraction of a second to ruin it. And so I think for her and I, that was probably one of the hardest things to have to look at and be like, hey, we need to fix this. And
it took me a whole year to get over it.
Yeah.
A long time to forgive myself and just understand where it came from and change it.
Yeah, and that was, to me, like that moment, you could kind of clearly see like that was the transition year for her mentally. Was, she's had all the pressure in the world to be the best again. Everyone was looking at her, and she really wanted to win and do well. And then it was slipping away. It was slipping away from her, and because it was so much about that end product, that it actually compromised what she was actually about. And that hurt us both, because we know what she's about. Like, Cammie's the greatest. She's the most wonderful girl in the world. She's such a pure, loving, passionate heart. And so that one was pretty backbreaking. But if you think about what it led to, it led to her objectively looking at herself and asking herself, like, am I about the right things? Am I being arrogant? Am I being selfish? Or just to be able to kind of take a good hard look at yourself and kind of go through that 12-step process of change. And that's exactly what she did. She's not the type of person to be accepting of things. She wants to fight and improve it and make it better. So that was they're all good moments, actually, now that I think about it, because even the
it's
bad
only
ones,
good moment because we learn from everything.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm very grateful that I went through this stuff, and that I had someone like Dave and like Justin Sua, my mental coach, to just be able to come back to who I am. Because when when I won the game in 2014, I was still really young, and it goes from no one wants to help you to everyone wants a piece of you. And then you become very guarded, and there's just like a lot of malicious people out there trying to do things for the wrong reason. And at a very young age, you just start to try to protect yourself to a point that it almost feels like everyone's out there to get you. So when those no rep happen, that's what happened in my head. I was like, they don't want me to win. They're out there to get me. And then it took a whole year to realize no one gives a shit. It really is
everyone's just out there doing their best.
Everyone's just out there doing their best. Everyone is, all the judges. Do you really think a judge would be there if it's not to just try to help all the athletes to just, have a fair shot at just having the best standard and the more fair competition? I really believe in this now, but back then just through a whole year of so many things happened to me, I think my head went there. And now I realize that, it wasn't true. I mean, I hope it wasn't true. I definitely have to hold on to that, that reality for me, because I want to believe in the best in people. And yeah, after that, it's so funny how you change your perspective on things. You get to know rep and you just don't care, because you're like, cool, like, thanks for keeping me on the standard. And it's no more like, oh, come on, or like, so that change. And then, I don't know, you're just grateful and you just do your best. And that's really who I am. I'm just there to have fun. Yeah. With everyone, like including the judges. We're doing this together. That's what you need to remember when you play a sport. You're doing this together. Like let me tell you, you're not important enough for someone else to try to get you. Because we're all as important as each other. Because there wouldn't be any sport without the judge, or with me, or with like the people that organize the event, or with the volunteer. So we're all as important. It just happened that I'm the person in the spotlight. So we're not.
The biggest things that Camille has grown through, and I know a lot of athletes have gone through this, is that when you achieve a high level of success, when you make it to that ultimate title or up to the big leagues or whatever it is, the biggest person you need to watch out for is yourself, because you can very easily start believing your own hype, believing that you're some kind of superstar, and forget who you are and what you're really about. Don't believe your own press. Have your values incomplete, and that's it. Because those things, just like somebody else who comes in and has malicious intentions, can ruin you from the inside out. And luckily, Camille,
I don't think I did that, because I had school to keep me.
Yeah,
down on
she's always tried to stay, humble. But I could see, like, sometimes the fame or the celebrity, the attention, can give you a skewed idea of who you are. And I'm glad that she's been able to come back to herself, and not fall into that trap.
I don't think I would ever have. I've never liked people telling me that you're good, because I never thought I was ever good enough. I still don't think. I'm not doing enough for others right now, and that's eating me.
Yeah.
Like, that's why I think I would say that's the biggest reason I'm not going to compete anymore, because I'm not doing enough for others. And
it can become a very self-focused existence. You can end up really reducing your world to you and what you have to do, and the next training session and the next eating. It's hard to really invest in other people when you're that focused on yourself. Dave Castro has been a really influential figure in your life. First, he introduced us and helped us find a way to get together originally when he helped me get that job out in Reebok. He's always been a strong supporter of you. When things go really right, you've been given some awesome opportunities that he's always kind of helped you find. And when things go really wrong, you always kind of reach out to him for guidance or help, or to apologize or something like that. Tell us a little bit about your relationship with Dave and what he has personally meant to you in your career.
That's a really good. I did not expect that at all. But that is a really good question. I think we've been friends with Dave for 10 years, and the first time I met Dave, I have no idea who he was. Like, I just thought he was the guy that was announcing at the 2010 CrossFit Games. So we did this Tahoe throwdown, and he was there with me and Miko Cello, and he was looking around to build like one of the events. And I was like, let's do a workout. So we wanted to like run up the hill and do burpees. And Dave went, oh, I don't want to do burpees. I don't want my shirt to get dirty. And I kind of called him out on being a sissy. No offense to anyone out there. That was the word I used back then. And he laughed. So that was the relationship I had with him from like the get-go. It was never, he's the director of the CrossFit game to me, and it's very scary. It was just, we just had fun together. And And I don't know, like I think that like seeing how hard he works and he's an honest man, and I just always felt safe like with him, like Dave Castro, for like good and bad. And he's just so honest, and he has such a good heart. I don't think anyone really sees that or know that. And to be honest, to a point that like at regional, it would always come one of the 3 days, because he would go around to all regional, and I always felt like just more secure and excited when I knew he was there. Like it's like, yes, Dave is here. Like it's gonna be more fun. Like there's just, and I think that's, I don't know, that's the relationship I have with him, and I just trust him, and I know I can go to him with anything, any issue, and we just know he's there. Like, and I don't think that's something that people know, but Dave is always there to help the athlete. And I think it's quite a rare quality out there, where most people are just trying to maybe get something out of the athlete. Dave is really always extending his arm to help the athlete be safe and be taken care of. Like things happened to me at one of the invitational, that someone was drunk and put me in a corner and started to yell at me for, you know, something. It was just crazy. And I when that happened, like I just remember Dave was near me, and I just grabbed him in so he could see, and because he was the person that I was trusting to like handle this situation correctly, which he did. So that's like the person that Dave is, like outside the scope of the CrossFit game. And he has no, you know, if you do well, he comes and tell you. If you do bad, he comes and tell you. Like I've done workout that'll come to me and be like, yeah, you sucked, and I'm like, yeah, that was bad. And you know, but he'll celebrate as hard with you. So there's no, he doesn't play favorite. He doesn't play like he doesn't like someone, like he does an event against them. Like there's none of that. It's just very straightforward. He does his best. And yeah, I think that's what I like about Dave, and that's our relationship. It's just fun if you can like react the right way and stop making it about you. Understand that he's trying his best to give you the best CrossFit game, and my job is just go out there and give the best show I can, and that's it.
Yeah.
Do you have something else?
No. Dave is a huge fan of the athletes. I think in his heart,
I think he is.
I think he loves that idea of actually finding the fittest person, and I think he loves the most just hanging around with the athletes and talking with them and creating these things for them. I think that's his greatest passion, is like Camille said, like providing them the coolest experience. And when you think about it, it is such a cool experience. Like you've got a collection of the fittest athletes on earth that are going to war with each other. It's really cool. And I think that's what he enjoys the most. But like Camille said, what a lot of people don't know about him is that he's a really compassionate guy, and he's very helpful and loyal and reliable. So, you know, good or bad, we know that we can reach out to Dave, and you know, he's going to be a stand-up guy for us.
It's just not good today.
It's not.
I'll go down.
Pippity pop pop. That's a great thing I love about bodybuilding, is you don't have to feel bad that like, oh, it doesn't feel good today, because it's just about creating a physical response, you know? So it's like if the dumbbells are not your 1 rep max, or if you're only able to do a little bit less weight, that's fine, because you can still get results out of it. But with Olympic lifting, it's very linear. It's very binary. It's like you can either lift the weight or you can't, and we can see your ranking based on what you could lift. Whereas bodybuilding is just about like, well, even if you're feeling shitty, if you're, you know, 3 pounds heavier with more muscle and a little bit leaner, you're moving toward your goal.
Not moving toward my goal today.
what people might be shocked to hear or not expect is that the process of training or working on businesses, doing all the things we do is actually not as glamorous as it comes across on TV or the internet. Like very monotonous and very boring. Like, you know, it's very boring for Camille to spend 3 hours in the gym working positions or thinking about what she has to do next or mobilizing. It's very boring for me to sit in front of the computer for 2 hours trying to program one day of workouts, coming up with the rep schemes, or, you know, it's a grind. The end product is cool, like it's super cool. I think it's real sexy, you know, but the process is really this kind of thing where it's just a bunch of baby steps every single day that might not be as entertaining as what you kind of see as the finished piece. Like for everyone out there, you know, understand that the tendency is to always look for a shortcut or a quick return, but things that come easy are oftentimes not enduring or not meaningful. Like, I don't know anything in this world that has a lot of value that is easy to achieve. You know, it takes work and consistency, and it's a matter of inches. In fact, you know, just recently, for instance, I'll use myself. We just met up with some friends, and everyone was coming up to Camille going, Jesus, like Dave looks so much bigger. And I am, like, you know, I went from like 220 to 245 pounds. But to Camille, it's imperceptible because you don't notice it every day. You know, you don't notice a pound a week. It just kind of, you know, it's just, you know, the monotony of just inching closer and closer. That's the same way with training, with nutrition. It's like you're just trying to play the law of averages and do things most of the time, and hopefully things accumulate in the right direction.
No, I'm very excited. I mean, I still don't think we'll have a summer because I'm just going to work as much on my Furrows program and my whole Furrows thing. But I'm very, very eager to just help people achieve their fitness and health goal that they truly deserve. And yeah, like I'm so excited to like try to help people, you know, change their life for the better.
Yeah, I can tell you for a fact, like Camille, when she does good in the gym, like she's stoked. Like she does a PR snatch or whatever, like we're watching her right now, she's super stoked. But I've also seen her, and I know the feeling myself of like watching one of our athletes who achieve something using our program or using some information we gave them, or, you know, every once in a while someone will submit like a before and after picture or say, hey, I can do something I could never do before, and it fills you up in a different way, which is nice because it's not about you, it's about what you've brought to something else, you know, something bigger than yourself. At the end of our careers, it would be really cool to look back and say that we had an impact on the fitness and training space. We left our mark or contributed something good that other people can take and continue to write that story forward.
All right, what is Furrows Fitness? Furrows Fitness is a training program that was built for student, mom at home, anyone who wants to be fit, literally anyone who has a job that only have a certain limited amount of time in a day, that are trying to get as fit as possible, don't know what to follow, have access to a club fitness or minimal equipment. Furrows Fitness is for you.